So this is fascinating. The gut, like specifically gut bacteria, produce butyrate and other short-chain fatty acids that exclusively, or I don't think, maybe not exclusively, they feed endothelial cells in the gut lining, but they also feed T regulatory cells, and they encourage the growth of T regulatory cells. I think that's what they do. I don't think they feed T regulatory cells, and they feed endothelial cells, but I think basically gut bacteria encourage the growth of T regulatory cells, which are very important immune cells, different from endothelial cells. Endothelial cells in the gut lining are the cells that keep your gut together, which is what breaks down when we say you have leaky gut syndrome, and literally the cells that form the gut lining start to separate, and food particles will leak into your bloodstream. Food particles, poop particles. It can explain why you feel shitty. Yeah, for real though. So T regulatory cells are different from endothelial cells because T regulatory cells basically tell your immune system to chill out. So if you're having autoimmune problems, if you're constantly itchy, constantly having inflamed hands, constantly having all these inflammation reactions, you have a lot of inflammation going on and a lot of problems associated with inflammation, then, and if you don't know if you have problems associated with inflammation, like look into it, then you could have a problem with your T regulatory cells. And this is something interesting I found when I did carnivore long-term. Long-term carnivores pay attention to this. So when I did carnivore long-term, I believe that I starved a lot of the good gut bacteria, probably through the consumption of energy drinks, but certainly my gut bacteria were starved. And as a result of that, I ended up becoming hypersensitive to pretty much every food. So if I ate anything, I would just immediately have this like horrible autoimmune reaction, which is weird because I wasn't like allergic to everything my whole life. And it went away as I improved my gut. And it took me a long time to get out of that state. And it was still a better state to be in than the insomnia I was in before. So this is still a marked improvement, which is largely why the gut problem had gone unnoticed for so long, because I just hadn't been sleeping for so long. And it's like, well, now that I can sleep, it's like chronic diarrhea. Who cares? That's probably not an indication of anything. I had diarrhea on and off my whole life. You know what I mean? At least I can sleep now. So it's like, well, and my hormones worked. I always had morning wood. So that was a good indication that things were doing fairly well. So, which wasn't the case when I was 16. I had erectile dysfunction for a year, so that's why I bring that up. But anyway, though, so carnivore long-term starved my gut bacteria of fiber, which I currently am going to feed my gut in the form of these carrots I'm going to make in a stew. And that fiber is going to feed my gut bacteria, which will produce enzymes, encourage the growth of T regulatory cells, feed my endothelial cells with butyrate and short-chain fatty acids, synthesize proteins, and produce a lot of neurotransmitters too. They do a lot. They're really carrying a big load here. So the best thing that we can do is appreciate our gut bacteria and do some research to figure out how we can take care of them, because they take care of us.